Welcome to this week's episode of the Shah Project. Today, I'm not actually going anywhere in particular. I'm going to sit in my office, aka the adventure van. My name is Shah. I'm a landscape photographer, passionate adventurer, mountain biker, and a devoted conservationist. A few years ago, my freedom and independence was nearly taken away from doing what I love by becoming a carer for my special needs son. Since then, I've doubled the stakes of my mission to make nature and the outdoors an inseparable and fundamental part of every family. This has now become my project. So my point number one is do a charity event. So by doing a charity event, you have to normally pre-book in advance. So whether it's a run or whether it's a cycle ride or whether it's climbing or hiking, there's various types of charity events you can get involved in. And like I said, you need to normally book yourself in advance. And if you book yourself for an outdoor event on one of these charity rides or runs or climbs or hikes in advance, then you will have plenty of time to actually prepare yourself for the event. So normally the outdoor charity events take place between May and August or May and September. So if you book yourself early in the year, in January say, then you will be giving yourself plenty of time to be prepared. And every week you will tend to work out depending on your activity, or every couple of weeks or every month you'll put in a certain amount of workout so that you're fit and ready for the charity event. So that's point number one for how you can motivate yourself to getting outdoors more. My point number two is take your dog out into the wild. It's all well and good taking your pet, your dog, out into your neighborhood and going for a little walk in the evenings. That's great. It's normally on a lead, and that's a great thing. You can go out on a weekly basis, every other day, in the evening, or every day. That's great. But when you're in the wild, you can take your dog off the lead and actually have a real bonding experience and a true experience with your dog in the wild. When off the lead, your dog can go explore wherever you are, and you get to explore wherever you are without having to concentrate on the dog and having to run after him and keep an eye on him and all that goes with having him on the lead. It gives you the freedom. It gives you the freedom to walk and actually absorb the environment, the natural environment, and have a look and take in the smells and the views and the colors and everything, because you're not focused 100% on the dog because he knows you know he's with you. So do that. My motivational point number two is take your dog out often into the wild, take him off the lead and go have a run around. My point number three on how to motivate yourself in getting outdoors is take the family out. And what I mean by that is take them camping. Camping is one of the best and biggest experiences you can have with your family. It's all well and good being at home, sitting around a table, having dinner together. That's great. But when you're out camping or in the wild or on a great hike with your family, it's a completely different experience, completely different bonding experience. And it'll motivate you to actually get out and do more once you see what that experience will do for you and your family. So my point number three is take your family out on regular hikes and definitely regular camping experiences. They will love it. They will thank you for it. You'll thank yourself for it. My point number four is exercise in the wild. It is probably one of the biggest and best experiences you will have as an individual. So whether you're a cyclist or you're a runner, a trail runner, or you love walking, hiking, whatever it is, rather than exercising in a gym or at home or in your neighborhood going for a run, which you can do as well, go out into nature, go into some woods, into a forest and go on a walk or go on a run. That is probably the biggest experience you will find, and you will want to do it again. It's very motivational because the surroundings will be different every time you go out for a run or a bike ride. It's going to be different. You'll want to go to different places. You'll want to explore new and other places. And that in itself will motivate you to keep going out and exercising in the wild. So get out and exercise in the wild. My point number 5, I think one great thing that will motivate you to spend more time in the outdoors will be mindfulness. So go out into the wild, into the wilderness, into the forest, sit by a lake, go sit by a river, go for a wild swim, whatever you do. Being out in the wild creates some kind of mindfulness for you to process that you can't get at home, you wouldn't get at work. It's completely different how you feel and how you understand and process things in life. So if you're stressed, if you have an idea you want to conquer, if you have a project you're working on or something, being out in the wild and creating space and this mindfulness around that particular idea will really motivate you to finding these new ideas, and will motivate you to keep going out into the wild to find and gel these ideas and thoughts and these processes together. So if you're solo, especially solo hikers, cyclists, outdoorsy people, it's a great way to spend time with yourself in the outdoors, is by realizing the mindful factor behind actually being outdoors solo. So get outdoors. And point number 5, which is spending time for mindfulness outdoors, is probably one of the most important things as a solo person, and therefore go out and do it as many times as you can over the months, over the few weeks that you might have spare, on the weekends, whenever you can. Try and spend mindful moments in the wild. My point number 6 is to stop taking things for granted and go explore some of these natural phenomena. So wherever you live, whichever country you're in, whichever city you're in, there's so many things around there that you probably have taken for granted, and you shouldn't. You should actually go out and explore them. And I'm talking about natural phenomena. So for example, we've got the Stonehenge in England, we've got the White Cliffs in Kent. How many of you can actually truly say you've been there, you've seen it, and you've actually explored that area? These are on our doorstep. So a lot of these things we take for granted, the natural phenomena we take for granted, are actually on our doorstep, and many of us tend to not explore them as much as we should. So go out and explore the natural phenomena, because I don't want to say once they're gone, but the fact that they're there for you to experience now should be motivating for you to say, right, I'm going to do this weekend, I'm going to do that next month, I'm going to take the family out in a couple of months to that destination and explore that natural phenomena. So get out and stop taking things for granted and go explore the natural phenomena that is on your doorstep. My point number 7 to get you outdoors and motivated is to find a remedy if you're suffering from any kind of ailment. There is science, hard factual science, that backs the idea that if you go out into nature, you are going to help remedy some of the ailments that you have. So whether it's as simple as suffering from a cold, or suffering from some kind of mental well-being side of things, or just simply have a respiratory issue, just going out into the wild is something that will definitely help remedy the issue. So you have to do it on a continuous basis. It's not like go out once and you think it's going to work. You have to motivate yourself to keep going out and remedying that problem. So a lot of people say, oh, I've got a cold, I think I'm going to sit at home and stay away from everyone and stay away from everything and help cure that cold and that flu. No, get out in the wild, whether it's winter, summer, spring, whatever it is, get out into that brisk winter air, for example, and take in that fresh air, and actually say no to sitting at home and trying to remedy that problem, and actually getting out into the wild to remedy that problem. Because that is probably the best way, the most uplifting way to actually get you going and help your body to find that peaceful self in order to remedy that particular ailment. But like I said, it's not about going out once or twice, it's doing it as a continuous process where your body gets used to it and hence sort of reacts to it when you are out in the wild. So there you go. Point number 7, remedy your health issues by going out into the wild. My point number 8 to motivate yourself is learn important survival skills. I think that's really important. I'm not saying go out into the wild and start doing some bushcrafting and living wildly, but yes, by all means, definitely do that. But when you get out into the wild, things may happen which you'll have to help yourself to survive and actually come through. So, for example, I lost my dog for just under an hour. This was in a forest, and I learned something very important there. One thing was stay within the premises where I'd lost him, because he could sniff his way back or find a trail on the way back, or find some kind of reality which was there before he got lost and actually find his way back. So I learned something really important because it hadn't happened to me before. I learned a survival skill in order to find my dog, was to stay in the same premises around that area until he found me, if I couldn't find him, and remain there for as long as possible and keep calling out for him. Calling out is a given, but staying in the same premises for the longest time possible is something that I learned. I kind of knew it, but hadn't put it into practice, so I learned something new there. It may be something else that happens to you. You might slip and fall and injure your leg, and you'll find a way to survive that and get back to get some help, or find somebody to get some help, or do something in order to get back to your car and sort the problem out. So it teaches you survival skills on all levels, and hence number 8, very important, is learn survival skills in the wild by motivating yourself, by actually getting out into the wild and doing things. And another point on that is these survival skills you can actually apply in urbanized life, in your daily life, in your working life. You will put these ideas and thoughts into your daily life in other experiences, and you will see how that materializes. So definitely get out there and learn some new survival skills. Point number 9 of motivating yourself is probably one of my favorites. It's about re-energizing and reinventing yourself. I'm sure many of you have experienced this, but when you're out in the wild, whether it's a woodlands or by a lake or canoeing or cycling ride or hiking or climbing a mountain or wherever you are, you tend to reinvent yourself in many cases in order to conquer that trail or that hike or that canoe ride. Or you tend to find energy where you really need it. So the more you get out there, the more likely it is that you're going to re-energize yourself and reinvent yourself during that very moment. But not only that, you'll re-energize and reinvent yourself when you come back from that outdoors adventure in your daily life. You'll reinvent your ways of life. You'll reinvent your ways of working, the ways of supporting your family, the ways of how you're going to walk your dog. So you're going to reinvent yourself in various ways. And it's only when you get out there and actually experience that, you start seeing that side of things. And in terms of energy, you will definitely re-energize yourself once you go out to the wild. You breathe this fresh air, you breathe in this fantastic experience. Once you see that freedom lifestyle, once you take in that freedom of actually being truly free in the wild, and you bring yourself back to your daily life and into your daily routine, that's when you actually start seeing the amount of energy you generate just by going out into the wild. Well, my final point number 10, is probably the most relevant in this day and age, is removing yourself from daily distractions. So when I say daily distractions, I mean things like your mobile phone, your laptops, getting off the sofa, which is placed perfectly in front of your TV, and move away from Netflix and all those things. So those I call distractions. Those are the daily distractions that take over our life that we'd rather do than actually go out into the wild. To remove yourself from these distractions and actually get out into the wild, into nature, and into this beautiful wilderness that we have around us, to motivate yourself, to inspire yourself, to get some new ideas, to reinvent yourself, to re-energize yourself, and just be the better you. Remove all these distractions and go out into the wild and find the better you, which you wouldn't normally find sitting in front of the telly on your sofa watching your Netflix or your BBC or whatever you have news channels. But you will find if you get out into the wild. So there you go, guys. Those are my top 10 ways to motivate yourself to getting outdoors. I truly hope each of them will ring a bell with you, and I truly hope that all 10 will ring a bell with you, and you will decide to get outdoors every month, every week hopefully, but every month with your family or solo or with your pet, and refine a side of you that you wouldn't normally have associated with if you were in your daily life, indoors, home, at work. And I truly hope you find what you're looking for. If you've liked what you've seen so far, then please go ahead and like this video below. There's going to be a lot more details in the description via the blog post, so please have a look at the description. And if you like what I've discussed in my videos so far and in today's video, then please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So you can go over to my channel and subscribe there, or subscribe below right here on my channel. And I hope to see you again. See you out and about.